Hello ladies, it is week 3 of the week to week updates with Vendeve. And today I'm going to talk about two topics, both of which are pretty topical for us right now. The first one is burnout, and this is something that I know a lot about and have some interesting tips to share. And the last one is about the massive impact that happens when there are more women entrepreneurs. But I just want to jump in first and say, I was having a hard time last week. You might have been able to tell that from the video. And I had some people who reached out to me just to offer support and kind words and thank you. I wanted to say thank you. You're awesome. You know who you are. We need to do that for each other. When we see that somebody's struggling, the best thing you can do is reach out and offer a kind word of support. So thank you. So I want to talk about burnout because last week I was really effing burned out. And there were some symptoms that I've been ignoring for a while. For one, I was getting all blaming and complaining, which is such an awful characteristic, but I was just overwhelmed, frustrated, feeling, annoyed at some of the circumstances and the challenges that we were facing. And, that's just an indication that I'm feeling burned out because generally I'm really positive, optimistic, solution driven. And what I noticed about myself is that I'm actually a super high functioning burnout person. I can keep producing, keep getting work done, but my attitude and my overall appreciation for this amazing journey that I'm on just starts to decline. So I noticed and I took a day and a half off. And that might not sound like a lot to you guys, but to me that was huge. And I just relaxed, rested, recharged, and I started sleeping in more. And I realized something. It's kind of like one of those aha moments that's so obvious it should be stamped on your forehead. But I control my schedule, and lately I've been having some hard time sleeping. I'm a little stressed out and anxious, and I would just get up at the same time because you start your day. And I realized, guess what? I control what time I get up. If I want to sleep in so I'm more relaxed and rested for the day and not a big jerk, I can do that. So I started doing that too. So that was my kind of experience with burnout. Take your own advice, take time off. You're not superwoman. You need your sleep, you need your rest, you need to let your brain recharge. And I'm so glad that I did because this week, some things happened and some things that really kind of re-energized me and got me ready to rock and roll and fired up about building Vendeve. So, number one, if you're a Canadian woman, you might know about the Jian Ghomeshi case, and you might know that our justice system is completely screwed up. I'm going to put a little bit more information in this blog post to give you some context if you're not in the know. But let's just say that as a woman, everything inside of me this week was how? Why? How do these things keep happening? There's been what happened with Kesha lately, with Trump's comments on women. These are just more and more indicators that we need more women in power. We need more women like you building their own companies, making their own money, making their own say. And that's just completely reinvigorated me to keep doing what we're doing. And it's made it even more important. And then so we're still doing we're still working towards potentially doing an equity crowdfunding campaign. We've got tons of interest in that, and you'll learn more about that as the weeks unfold. And we're talking to an impact investment firm in Toronto. So an impact investment firm, they look for companies that are for-profit companies that are driven to make a return for investors, but also create some degree of social impact. And so we're chatting with them. We've had a little bit of back and forth. And the lead I'm chatting with, he asked he's I like what you're doing, but I want to understand what's the real impact of having more women entrepreneurs? And I thought, well, that's a great question. Let's look at some data. Let's do a little bit of research. And holy crap, ladies, the impact is enormous. So I'm just going to share two or three stats with you. The more women entrepreneurs there will be a global increase per person of their income by 20% by 2030. What that means is that as we continue to have more and more women entrepreneurs, we all globally will make 20% more by 2030. That is huge. That's enormous impact. And women entrepreneurs are much more likely to create companies that build social good, companies like Vendeve, companies like Kiva. So this is something that probably won't surprise you ladies because you might already have built a company like that. That's my timer, so I'm going to wrap up quickly. But in addition to just like help making more money for like everybody and doing more social good, women also face some challenges to starting businesses that are reasons why we really can benefit from the support and the like community that comes from a platform like Vendeve. For instance, women really struggle to find mentors, and that is critical to the success of any entrepreneur. And we hope that you're finding awesome mentors in Vendeve, and we're going to be introducing you to some really amazing women in the weeks to come. And also, women start their businesses on average with like half the amount of money as male like business owners, and that's kind of crazy. The stats are even scarier if you're in tech like I am. For instance, if you're an average black woman starting a tech company, you start with around $30,000. The average white male starts with $1.2 million. Imagine how much harder it is to build your company and do what you need to do when you're competing with somebody who's on average raising $1.2 million. But the cool thing is, even though this stat is scary and frustrating and mind boggling, women run tech companies like Vendeve on average are doing 35% higher return for investors. So we're better with our money. We get less of it, so we've got to be really careful where we put it. So those are just some cool stats that I shared with this impact investment firm, and I hope that in the weeks to come I'll be able to tell you more about where that's going. Okay, I'm going to wrap up. Basically, like the summary of this week is don't get burned out. It makes you an asshole. Sorry if anybody's offended by that language, but you know, it does. It makes you a crappy person. It makes you not able to do your job as well as you should be doing it, and to not have gratitude for getting to be on that amazing journey that is being an entrepreneur. And so for next week, I want to know. I want to start like theming these around the content you want to hear about. So what are you more interested in hearing about? A, what it's like to raise money from investors as a tech startup. Is this something you're interested in? Do you want to hear more about this? Because I'd love to share with you some of the tips and tricks we've learned along the way. Or B, our business plan and our model that's coming with Vendeve and some of the future features that we're going to roll out. So tell me below what you're more interested in. Is it about raising money from investors? Or is it about the features that we're going to roll out with Vendeve? Or is it about something completely different? And if so, put it below as well. All right, ladies, this is me signing off for week 3. Thank you. Have an amazing week. Okay, bye-bye.